Back, graphs and tables. Let's take a look at graphs and tables today. From the main menu, tap Graphs and Tables. Here you can graph a number of equations. You have different sheets that each hold 20 equations. Simply tap the folders. You can graph as many or as few. We are currently in y equals. To change the type, hit the down arrow, parametric, r theta, x equals. You can graph equations in terms of x. Inequalities, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. We'll talk about y diamond a little later. Let's set this back to y equals. While we're here, let's check the settings. Tap the wheel, graph format. This is where you can specify different graphing formats. Currently your axes are on, your grid will be a line, inequalities will be plotted as unions, current sketch color is green, we can select a different color. We've got labels checked, controllers unchecked, draw plot. If we tap default, it'll set it back to the defaults. If you tap special, here's some special items that we have turned on, including the summary table having F double prime. Tap default and set. You've got two windows. The equation editor we've got two windows, the equation editor where you can type in your equations, and the graph screen below. Now you can see after we've typed in an equation, the equation as well as the graph in the same window. Let's graph an equation. Tap in y1. Type in your equation, x squared minus 3. Execute will lock it in and also select that equation. To graph it, tap the graph. You notice that the highlighted window is the graph window. When you're in different windows, you have different control settings along the top. The graphing window has a different set of controls, including edit, zoom, analysis, and the diamond. If you would like to just move the screen, tap and hold anywhere on the screen in the graph and move your graph. Once you have it where you like it, just drop it. Let go. Let's bring it back to where we were. There's a couple of ways to zoom. With the graph window highlighted, tap zoom, in, or zoom out. Another way to zoom in or out is to press the plus to zoom in or the minus to zoom out. You can tap zoom in or zoom out as often as you'd like. Zoom out, zoom in, zoom in. Let's change the type of graph we're looking at. Let's change y2. We'll tap in y2. Let's change it to a polar graph. Let's graph 5 sine of 3 theta. 5, sine is found under keyboard, under trig tab. 3, theta. Close the parentheses. Press execute to lock it in. We currently have both y1 and r2 selected. Tap graph. You can still control it like we did before. Tap and hold, drag up. Let's change R3 to a new type. Let's go with parametric. Let's go with 3 sine of theta, or t, 3 sine of t, and 3 cosine of t. This should give us a circle with a radius of 3. Execute. Tap to graph. Let's deselect one and regraph. Let's deselect Y1 and just graph our parametric. Tap to highlight the editor, edit, clear all. Let's set some inequalities. Let's go with y is greater than. We'll say x plus 3. And a second inequality, if y is less than, negative x plus 2. Make sure they're both highlighted. Tap graph. Notice we have the overlap. If you'd like to see more of the overlap, tap on the graph, tap and hold, drag it down. We're currently in the union. If you would like to see only the intersection, tap the wheel, graph format, change inequality plot from union to intersection. Tap set. Now what you get is the intersection only. Notice the dotted lines as well. Let's say you're dealing with linear programming. Let's throw some constraints in for x. We'll tap in the green, pull down, we'll go inequality for x. X is greater than negative 4, and x is going to be less than 0. Execute. We're currently in the intersection of all, so when we tap graph, we will see only the intersection of all those regions. If you would like to see all the regions, tap the wheel, graph format, change intersection back to union, set, and here it is. Let's set it back. Set. And start with a new graph. Tap the editor, edit, clear all. Let's type in a factored equation. X plus 3, x minus 2, x plus 1. Execute, graph. Let's drag it up and see if we can get it all in the window. We can't get it all in the window. To resize the window, we can tap resize. There we have it. You could also still use zoom in and zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. Let's find some points on this graph. Let's find some roots. To find the roots, tap analysis, G-solve, root. Let's find some roots. Tap analysis, G-solve, roots. There's the first root. To see the other ones, use the cursor to go back and forth. To mark the point, tap execute, over, execute, over, execute. This will mark the points and also label them with their labels. Tap escape to get out of that command. Zoom out, zoom in, and you still have those dots there. Let's find some more critical points. Let's find the maxims. Let's find some more critical points. Let's find the maximum and the minimum. These are local maxes and mins. Analysis, G-solve, min. There's your local minimum. Tap it to mark it. Escape gets you out. Analysis, G-solve, max. Tap. Escape to get you out of that command. Let's clear this up. Let's clear up the screen. Analysis, Sketch, CLS for clear screen. Let's bring back our y equals editor. Tap y equals. They're currently reversed. To swap them back, tap swap. Let's take a look at a table of values for this function. Let's tap the editor. Here's the table right next to the graph. Tap table. This is the current table setting. To change the table setting, tap the XY extremes. We're currently starting at 1, ending at 5, and going in steps of 1. Let's go from -5 to 5 in steps of a half. Okay. Here's your table. Scroll down or use the directional key. If you would like to see a value that you don't have, simply choose a place to see it, type in the new value, press execute or OK. Let's regraph this time using dots. These are the dots that are coming off of our table. Let's link the two together. Diamond, down to link. What link's going to do is allow us to link between the graph on the top and the table below. Let's select -1. Now they're linked together. Notice you've got the marker. Let's say we want to find something in between 2.5 and a -1.5. We currently have 8. Let's go with -1.25. There we have it. Let's swap our window. And now let's pull up y equals. We've seen some zooming options already. We've looked at grabbing and dragging. We've looked at zooming in with a plus, zooming out with a minus. Let's take a look at some other options on how to move the screen around. By clicking the up arrow, you can move the screen upwards. Clicking down, you will see more downwards. Click to the left, increase your maximum X value. Click to the right, increase your maximum negative X value. Some other options that you have available are in the settings. Let's go into settings. We'll go into the graph format and turn on the graph controller. What the graph controller is going to do is it's going to give us arrows that work similar to the up, down, left, and right arrows, but they're right on your screen. Notice when I click down, screen moves. When I move to the left, screen moves. You also have different zoom options. You can zoom factor. You can zoom in by a factor of 2 on the X, 2 on the Y, or 3 on the X and 2 on the Y. Gives you a different point of view. You can zoom in. You can zoom out.
Zoom auto, zoom original, zoom square, gives you a nice square window, zoom round, integer, previous, initialized, and you can do quick zooms. Quick trig, quick log, exponential, x squared, negative x squared, or quick standard. We'll just go with the quick standard window. Let's turn off our graph feature for the graph controller.